Hey y'all, it is March the 17th, 2023. Y'all, and I want to take a little bit of time to point out something that I'm sure a lot of people have pointed out, um, but it definitely cannot be reiterated enough, all right? And I know that most people ain't talking about something like this, so I thought I'd bring it up as well. You may or may not have been seeing these sort of things. Of course, chaos and calamities going on all around us. God bless you and thank you for joining me here. Take a little bit of time. I don't know if you've seen or heard this sort of stuff, or if you're into, say, energy drinks. Me personally, I've been getting down with some energy drinks recently. They help me reach peak macho madness. Right? But I'm very mindful of which energy drinks, and I'll talk with you about it a little bit more on the other end. But let's go ahead and start here. This is 2 days ago, a headline, and of course, it's going to be copied and pasted in different places. I'm sure 18 hours ago, this bull stuff over here. An artificial sweetener could cure autoimmune diseases. That blah blah blah. Independentnews.com. And I swear I've seen it somewhere else too. But independentnews.com says autoimmune diseases could be cured with this artificial sweetener. All right, so a lot of people are getting excited. Let's say we can cure certain autoimmune diseases with this particular artificial sweetener. Now, before we look into the article, just real quick, I want to go down here on Google. And for example, a lot of people ask this question. It's a very popular question. Have any autoimmune diseases been cured? And the answer Google says is autoimmune disorders in general cannot be cured. That's what Google says, but the condition can be controlled. They cannot be cured, according to Google. They just can't be cured. But we got headlines that say, oh yeah, they can. Artificial sweetener. That sucralose, and I want to concentrate on there's different ones, and perhaps they'll all be just as bad, but we're going to talk about sucralose right now because they want to talk about it. Splenda, aka Splenda, and people, as far as I know, have been using Splenda since before I was born. They've been using Splenda in their iced teas. Lord knows people in San Antonio love iced tea, so I'd heard of it before since I was a little baby. All right. And by the way, capital of diabetes is San Antonio, Texas. All right, just to let you know, we really excel in diabetes. All right. So this article might be very similar to the article that I've seen before. In fact, it might be copied and pasted. So I trust that the same exact information is in this article as was in the other article. I can't navigate though because of all the pop-ups or whatever. Yeah, and we got the same picture. I guess this is the same article I had seen, but I didn't know it. All right. So this is by Talker News, March the 15th. Breaking news. All right. Diabetes? No more. Not going to have diabetes no more. Got it cured. From what? Artificial sweetener. Let's see what I got to say. Mark Waghorn. Mark Waghorn. Says this artificial sweetener Splenda may hold the key to curing type 1 diabetes. Oh, yeah. And rheumatoid arthritis and who knows what else. Come to find out, according to new research. Let's see. What do they got to say beyond these ads everywhere? Says high doses of sucralose, high doses of it, the basis for the popular sweetener, prevented cells from attacking healthy body tissue in mice. Now, I'm definitely not a scientist. A lot of these words get very complicated in my brain, so it's only very far that I can dive into the world of science. However, after reading this article, I think it's going to be very simple what they're trying to tell you right now. All right. What Mr. Mark Waghorn is over there very proud to tell you about. There are over 100 autoimmune diseases, and Lord knows why that is, where the inbuilt defense system accidentally attacks instead of protecting the body. So they're getting very scientific. Others include lupus, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and multiple sclerosis. Senior author Professor Karen Valsden of the Francis Crick Institute in London said, "We're hoping to piece together a bigger picture of the effects of diet on health and disease so that one day we can advise on diets best suited to individual patients or find elements doctors can exploit for treatment." Doctors can exploit for treatment. That's a very interesting word. More research and studies are needed, I'm sure. But more research and studies are needed to see whether these effects of sucralose in mice can be reproduced in humans. So if these initial findings hold up in people, they could one day offer a way to limit some of the harmful effects of autoimmune conditions. All right. So hopefully they won't take too long in this article to get to the point, like, how is it exactly that y'all artificial sweeteners gonna cure everybody of all these diseases? Sucralose is used by many processed foods and drinks. It's calorie free. See, this is where it's just so bizarre. Can you even imagine? It doesn't have any calories. However, it's 600 times sweeter. Not 600%. 600 times sweeter than
Arnicare is a topical
sugar.
pain reliever made from a
I don't
flower.
want to hear all that. Ads during my... You need to pay me for those ads, right? So 600 times, right? If you ever like had a sugar cube or something like that, well, then you might understand how sweet sugar is. You can't exactly eat it by itself. It's so damn sweet. And so 600 times, that's like science fiction, right? Oh, that's not going to have some sort of effect on the body. 600 times sweeter. Oh, it does have an effect. It cures you of all sort of autoimmune diseases. So check this out. While generally regarded as safe, some concerns have been raised about the long-term consumption, disruption of gut bacteria, and even increasing risk of cancer. See, these guys, they want to convince you of something that is beyond reason. It's beyond reasonable. That something that is 600 times more sweeter than sugar going in your body is a good idea. But meanwhile, I'm been more than aware of lawsuits and all sort of things developing for years and years now. For many years have I heard about sucralose, Splenda, that's not to mention Sweet and Low and all these other ones. All right, you got sucralose, you got many other ones. You got aspartame, you got acetylflame, and there's others. All right. So what's long been known and figured out is actually the disrupting of gut bacteria, which is actually important. And an increased risk in cancer, that's a little bit important too, I would imagine, right? So now experiments on lab rodents showed large amounts lowered activation of T cells to fight to fight disease and infection, all right? So this is where they make it very, very simple. It's all scientific talk, get y'all jumbled up, but it's very simple. Just read the sentence. Now experiments on lab rodents showed large amounts of it, lowered activation of T cells that fight disease and infections. Does that sound like a good thing to you? That they lower the activation of T cells that fight disease and infections. We just went through a so-called pandemic that never existed. And people were slapping diapers on their face and doing any number of embarrassing things to themselves and their children. But however, you see that large amounts lowered the activation of T cells. You think that's important for your immune system? See, it opens the door to treating patients in whom responses become uncontrolled, sometimes triggering life-threatening conditions. So this is the point that they're getting at. I'm not sure how much more we're going to read of it. The point is that when people have autoimmune diseases, more or less it seems that sometimes their bodies can be triggered and their immune system will go all haywire. That's what they're describing right there. Sometimes triggering life-threatening conditions uncontrolled, right? Their immune cells, to include their T cells, perhaps go all haywire. It's not good. So what they're saying is large amounts of this sucralose splenda that we've been putting in so much of what y'all eating and drinking, large amounts will basically go ahead and start turning off T cells. All right. That might help you in a certain situation if you're in an emergency situation. However, they're going to start shutting off your T cells. They're going to start disrupting your gut bacteria. They're going to start developing cancer. Here's a co-first author, Dr. Fabio Zanni, from the same lab said, we do not want people to take away the message that sucralose is harmful. I'm sure you don't want people to take that message away. I'm so sure of it because you're going out of your way to put this gobbledygook on the internet. So we do not want people to take away that this message sucralose is harmful if consumed in the course of a normal balanced diet because it's just little amounts. We're just sneaking in little tiny amounts and stuff every day into what you're. See, that's the thing. Long as, just as a side note, I'm the type that annoys people because I'll take a product and I'll turn it around and read the ingredients, and nobody knows what they're eating and drinking, and they don't care, and they're actually proud to not know what they're eating and drinking. We're gonna sneak small amounts of this sucralose, and it's gonna slightly turn off your T cells, and it's gonna slightly turn off your immune system. It's gonna just ever so slightly on a daily basis. It's gonna develop cancer in you, and it's gonna disrupt your gut bacteria. All right, but it's not we're putting large amounts in these mice, so that's why it has such a drastic effect. But don't worry, put in very small amounts in what you eat and drink. But we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to have so many science laboratory studies and stuff. We're going to figure out just what exactly we're doing to your body, even though it seems like for many years people know good and well what the hell we're doing, giving you cancer and lowering your immune system. This is going to cure you of diabetes and everything else like that. And we're just going to talk about it like we know what the hell we're talking. See, you know exactly what you're talking about, and you're telling us exactly what's bad, and yet you're saying, but we only put little amounts and stuff, and actually it could be pretty good for you. If we've injured you, if you got diabetes, then you might want to stick with the sucralose and the Splenda. All right, there's also a couple other things that I wanted to point out, and I got it somewhere on my gallery. All right, some pictures. This is a picture of the same type of article, but I was like brought by a different. I don't know how it works, but all right. Let's see if we can get back to. Here's. I want to talk about Celsius real quick. I really want to talk about it because Celsius is arguably that Red Bull and stuff. It's arguably the most popular energy drink in America, and I'm sure elsewhere as well. It's all over the place. Celsius. A lot of people drink it, especially like say housewives who want to, for example, and I've seen it, who want to lose weight and so they want to start exercising. They want to get all jacked up. I've drank Celsius drinks before, all right? And that's kind of like before I realized that there was sucralose in them. Yeah, there's sucralose in them, all right? I drank them before, and yeah, they'll get you all jacked up. They're very, very sweet too, as well, like most energy drinks. And I don't like that. I don't like how so sweet they are. All right. Real quick, I want to mention that, yeah, I get down on energy drinks, and you got to like weigh, weigh the pros and the cons and stuff. I understand what I'm putting in my body. A lot of these energy drinks be high up in caffeine and stuff, and people debate how much caffeine you should get, if at all. And I understand. There's the pros and the cons when it concerns with caffeine, and I still drink energy drinks. All right. I want to talk about the energy drinks that I drink here a little bit later. But right now, just to concentrate on Celsius, yeah, they got sucralose up in there, but so many other ones do too as well. Most energy drinks that you'll see out there have slipped sucralose up in them. And probably other things too, to include aspartame, acetylflame, like I'd mentioned, and who knows what else. All right. So Celsius, you may not be aware, actually had a class action lawsuit recently, and probably turned out to be hundreds of millions, even billions. I mean, these guys are popular and making money. Celsius itself is making well into the billions of dollars, it seems. So they had a class action lawsuit, and in which, if you hadn't heard about it, you could receive a refund from Celsius between $20 and up to $250. Whether or not you had the proof of receipts and stuff, and blah blah blah, you could make a claim and receive $250 in the mail from Celsius. Why is that? Without reading the article, because I read them before, I want to mention that the reason behind that is that on Celsius, if you look at a Celsius can, it claims all sort of things. Oh, it's supernatural and all this. I don't know if it still says it on the can, but it used to say no preservatives, right? It's like, oh, this is super healthy for you and stuff. Don't even think about it. It's so healthy, and go ahead and have some, right? But the lawsuit's actually pertaining to citric acid, if you've ever heard of that preservative, because citric acid in and of itself is a preservative. It acts as a preservative. So they had citric acid in their can. I want you to like, how scary does citric acid? Some people are sensitive to it, but how scary is citric acid to you when you think about it? But however, that is a preservative, and so therefore, when they said no preservatives, that is why the lawsuit came about. Meanwhile, I want to point out, like, as though I live on a different planet. It's like much more of your concern should not be with citric acid, obviously, as much as sucralose that's still in it. It's still in Celsius. It's going to remain in Celsius. It's going to remain in Prime. It's going to remain in every one of these energy drinks out there. A lot of them. However, there's a lot of energy drinks that don't have it. And I did want to point out something else real quick. Um, there was another lawsuit. Shout out to, if y'all remember, probably in the early 2000s, there was a artist, and it still is, by the name of Flo Rida, and he's from Florida, and so that's a funny name. And so Flo Rida, he recently had implemented a lawsuit against Celsius as well. Flo Rida, I wanted to point out recently, about 4 days ago, it was said that he's launching his own energy drink. It's Jet Set One. This is after the rapper successfully sued the energy drink brand Celsius for $82.6 million. I don't know all the nitty gritty details of it, but it seems as though Flo Rida said, hey, they said they were going to pay me. They ain't paid me. And what's the damn deal? And courts decided that Flo Rida was correct. right? And therefore he gets $82.6 million. That just gives you a little sign of what the like I said, into the billions Celsius is making because it's so popular. And so I don't know too much about Flo Rida. I never really got into his music necessarily, but I wish him all the best. And I think that he deserves every single penny of the $82.6 million that he just got awarded. I really do think so. And however, he's saying that he's gonna make a energy drink that's more even better, that's more healthier for you. That's what I've been reading, and it's called Jet Set One. I wish him all the best. And with all these energy drinks, that's it's good to have alternatives. He said he's gonna make one that's even better for you than Celsius. It's not gonna be hard. There's already plenty that I can think of off the top. Shout out to True North, and there's so many of them that are much, much, much better for you than Celsius. It already exists, all right? But it's something that like hardly anybody will ever talk about. And meanwhile, all these people out here, there's so many. It's the most popular or one of the most popular energy drinks in all of America. So you can imagine how many people are buying them on a daily basis, basically addicted to them. And meanwhile, giving themselves daily doses of something to turn off their gut bacteria and give them cancer. But no, it's really going to cure you of cancer and everything else, according to propaganda. All right. I just don't hear too many people talking about it. And it's actually important to read. It's actually important to know. See, I put, fast food. I go and do the Whataburger thing and all this. I understand what I'm putting. It is garbage. Yes, I know it. All right, but it's a trade off. And it's like, okay, but I know what I'm doing. All these people out here don't even know what they're doing. And I want to get up out of here, but also state that all these people out here don't even know what they're doing. I see people all the time. Most people look physically miserable, right? They live the adult sedentary lifestyle, and it does show. And I see a lot of them too, as well. It's so popular. Drinking these energy drinks, and be it a Red Bull, which is crazy filled with sugar, or be it a Celsius drink or something like that, which is feeding you small doses of this secret juice every day. And I see them, and it's like they don't really care what they're putting in. All they know is that they get all jacked up. There's other alternatives that you could drink if you knew how to read that would get you jacked up on the caffeine, you get, and with the carbonation and everything, but you just don't know about it because you can't read. And typically, y'all fat, living a sedentary lifestyle, and the thing is, on principle, it's just a little bit different with myself because when I drink energy drinks, it's to get all jacked up. It's to really catch the macho madness. All right, it's to be athletic. Typically, people out here drinking these Celsius sucralose concoctions, and it's only just to go to work. And you're like, oh yeah, but this is 0 calories. You're still fat, and you're getting fatter. Is it like a mystery? Is this some big mystery? What's going on and stuff? Oh, but it's 0 calories. Yeah. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all, and I just wanted to point that out. And I appreciate everybody, but I'll holler at y'all and holler at me in the comment section, buddy. And I'll get back to you. I'll holla.